We are. This is easy. This is, a lot of times Rob and I and the band, we have to craft very complicated intros for people because it requires an elaborate system of messaging and wording to be sure that they know exactly where to come out. This is easy. This is easy. If you've been to a convention, you know what we're about to do. If you haven't, you'll learn now and you will never forget. It only takes 3 simple words, and we get this party started. Follow along as Rob and I demonstrate. 1, 2, 3. All hail Satan! You were spoken of, you've been talked about a lot so far last night and today. Rob Benedict was saying lovely things about you on this very stage.
Really?
But you being the intellect of the group and the thinker.
Oh yeah, right. We've been speaking about you.
Highly, speaking in glowing terms.
Yeah.
Nice.
Don't ruin it for us.
So,
I was planning on it.
Well, good. We sent you a bar to go under, so you're welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Pellegrino.
Yeah! Thanks, guys. Thank you, guys. Jacksonville. I'm here. There you go. What's up, guys? Is he having fun? Are you ready for tonight? Tonight's gonna be fun. How many of you are at a convention for the first time? Wow! Ooh, you're in for a treat. I hope. Watch out for who? Me? Watch out for me? I don't bite. Hard. Have you guys been enjoying the show so far? What do you think of Nick?
Yeah!
Who's scarier, Lucifer or Nick? Really? What? You're gonna have to explain yourselves. Because he's human, he's scary.
Lucifer was very capricious, though.
Human monsters are scarier than monsters, is what you're saying.
Monsters are human!
All monsters are human.
Oh.
We're getting deep. But I agree with you. All monsters are human. So we have a little Q&A here, right? The object of which is you ask questions and I don't answer them. Or I do my best to not answer them.
Hi, I'm Julie.
Wait a minute.
Oh.
I didn't choose. What's your name though?
Julie.
Are you from here?
I'm sorry?
Are you from here?
No, I'm from Texas.
There's a weird... Don't mess with Texas. There is a weird echo here, so it's hard to understand what we're saying to each other. I have the same problem. That's why I'm sitting right here. How is Texas?
It's great right now. It's not hot and humid.
Nice. All right, go ahead. What's your question?
So of the 2 characters that you played, what did you like most about each character and what did you dislike most about each character?
Good question. Julie from Texas. Did I get that right? Julie, yeah.
Nailed it.
Because I forget names quickly. You know, what I like about Lucifer is there are no rules. And there's a wide degree of joy when you're free to do anything you want without repercussions. I don't know what that says about me. I shouldn't feel that way, but I do. And that's fun to play. You know, it's fun not to have any expectations as an actor about what a moment is supposed to mean, you know, like you can if it's written in the script that you have to be emotional, you can tend to put pressure on yourself to feel a certain way. And there are none of those pressures on Lucifer. Anything he feels is sort of fine, and maybe even if it comes out the way you thought it would, it's even better because it's unexpected and unpredictable. So I like that. I like the no rules aspect to Lucifer. What I don't like is the no rules aspect to Lucifer too, because as a person, I'm sort of not attuned to that way of operating, and so it's very much against my fiber, my moral fiber. But you gotta play those characters sometimes when you're acting. Characters who don't do what you would do in life. Now Nick presents a whole bunch of other challenges because Lucifer comes with a ready-made sort of historical background, right? We all sort of know what it is. And I sort of went through Christianity in my philosophical search, so I know pretty in depth his story. So it doesn't require a whole lot of imagination on my part. Nick does. I see a shadow going, oh, okay. I thought it was Spade sneaking up behind me. So I have to, do a lot of sort of background work on Nick, and that's very stimulating imagination work. And actors approach that different ways. I even approach it different ways depending on the script. But in this case, I write journals, long journals, to justify the things that I say, which end up being long stories and daydreams about Nick's life. And that's fun and that's challenging, and the emotional stuff that Nick has to go through is challenging. And that's also the thing that isn't so fun about it, is that, getting through a day of shooting is really, really physically taxing. Even when you're not anxious or tense or pushing anything, just that kind of emotion flowing through you really takes its toll. Does that make sense? Huh? Thank you. Does that make sense? Okay.
Who's gonna say
Hi, I'm Erica from Jacksonville. I was wondering what your favorite episode to shoot with Lucifer was and why.
My favorite episode to shoot? Well, there's a couple of episodes that I think I like that are like favorites. Is that you can't have something that's multiple favorites, can you? That doesn't even make sense. But I have multiple favorites. Like I'm sort of partial to the apocalyptic Lucifer. Oh, look at you guys, you're like, I want that. This other Lucifer's such an asshole. He sucks. No, I mean, I do too, though, because there's a certain stature to that character, right? And even though there was funny elements to what he did, there was an undercurrent of something noble and frightening and like untouchable, and you knew that Lucifer was the smartest, toughest guy in the room. And the latest iterations of Lucifer, you're not so sure he's the smartest, toughest guy in the room. And I like that aspect of him. So like some of my favorite stuff is, when he's burying the village, and trying to call up death and confronts Dean and Sam and plays with Sam's head and slaps the shit out of Dean. It's like, it's great, that's apocalyptic Lucifer. Understating, huge things. I love that. And the face-off between he and Cass when Cass is in the ring of angel fire, and Lucifer's trying to convince Cass to come over to his side. It was like two gunfighters, in the West facing off against each other. It was significant, and I like that a lot. But I also like, the playful, impish elements of Lucifer too, I have to say. I'm partial to some of the stuff that Mark Shepard and I did together. I thought, it was just funny and fun to do, and so some of that is my favorite stuff. And I even like I like what I've seen of Nick's craziness too. and the residual Lucifer that probably, is still pulling the strings there. I'm not giving anything away by saying that.
No.
Do you think there's Lucifer stuff in Nick pulling strings?
I don't.
You don't?
I don't. I think
You're the only one
I
that doesn't.
think that Nick was already bad.
What's that?
I think Nick was already bad.
You think Nick was bad?
I think he was a descendant of Cain.
I disagree.
That's okay.
I don't think Nick was bad. The potential was there.
Yeah, descendant.
Isn't the potential there in all of us?
Yes.
But not like Nick. Nick was a unique asshole. He had a unique capacity for evil. Maybe you're right. I don't know. Yes?
Hi.
Hey.
My question is, if you had a chance to play any other character on the show, who would that be, and why?
I might have said this before, I don't know. But I took a test online about which supernatural character. Have you guys done that? All right. Which supernatural character do you think I am?
Sam.
Who? Did you say? Oh, Mary Winchester. I thought you said Barry Winchester. Yes, I'm the weird Uncle Barry Winchester. Hi, Sam. Hi, Dean. Haven't seen you in a while. You want to go hunting ghouls? No, I'm not Barry Winchester. And I'm not even Mary Winchester. And I'm not Charlie. I am not Crowley. Look, you have to judge from what you know of me. I don't know if any of you really know me.
Sam.
Let me just say, I have not heard a single right answer yet. I'm Dean! And I like that. I would play Dean if I were more handsome and young and spry and athletic and had a sense of humor. Now, you know what? Because there's dimensions to Dean's character that I really, really love. And I think, I think they've been coming out, and they always leak out in little scenes here and there when it's called for, but recently in the stuff with Jack, Dean is a chocolate chip cookie. You know what I mean by that, right? Hard on the outside, soft and gooey on the inside. And there's those moments that I don't know about what's going on over there, but there's moments when Jensen brings out something in that character that is very interesting to me as an actor and as a viewer. He brings out that little hint of the boy, the hurt, abandoned boy. And I saw that. I'm gonna cry. Shit. I saw that with Jack a little bit. That hurt, abandoned boy who was feeling so much in the connection with Jack and in what that moment meant, but didn't want it to come out. It's so human. And that's such a great thing to act. And I like that. I like that. I like that toughness that's soft and, compassionate underneath. That's really cool. So I'd do that. I'd play that character. Dean Winchester. Sam!
So, what was your favorite backstage moment with the cast and crew?
Well, I hate to say this. I will. You know that about me.
Oh, yes, we do.
Nobody jokes with me.
Afraid of you.
So, I don't have any fun stories. I'm kidding. I do have a ton of fun stories, but I'm not going to tell you any of them. No. I really don't have any stories. I really don't. I mean, for me, it's just fun working. So the whole process of working and hanging out in between takes and stuff. I talk deep shit with people in between takes. I'm not like, there are some people who have to have a sort of a joking, fun, light atmosphere. I like that, I don't mind that. But, you know, it's like, you know, if Jared has said, you know, he just read Homo Deus, I'm like, oh, I gotta tell you, I gotta talk about this concept with you, come here. And I'll bend his ear about, you know, philosophy or something like that. And he likes that kind of stuff too, so we banter back and forth about meaningful crap.
That's super fun though.
I'm sorry. That's all I got. I didn't fill anybody's cars up with nickels or pennies. I didn't put lots of headshots in anybody's room. I talk about whether a hunter-gatherer society is preferable to an industrial society. Is that weird? She's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm so sorry I come up here and ask that question. You're awesome, thanks. Can you even understand me? You can't, can you? Okay. Thanks for the question. That was my answer. Yeah, 3 people applauded. Please don't answer a question like that again. Because when the boys answer it, there's actually funny things that they talk about. And you can actually see some of those funny things. Alex gets a lot of funny things, doesn't he? He's got a lot of funny stories to tell. I don't. I'm kidding. What's up?
Hi, good evening, Mark.
How are you?
I'm well, how are you?
Good.
I was just curious in season 7, episode 17, where Lucifer's torturing Sam in the mental hospital.
Yeah.
When you were filming that episode, who do you think was more tortured? Sam by Lucifer in the hospital, or retaliation by Jared on set?
Or who?
Or Mark by Jared on set in retaliation.
I can't understand because of the echo.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all right, it's not you. Just please. What was the question, Ken?
Okay. In season 7, episode 17.
Yes.
When Lucifer was torturing Sam.
Yes.
With the firecrackers, making him stay awake.
Yes.
Who do you think was more tortured when you were filming that episode? Sam by Lucifer in the hospital, or Mark by Jared on set in retaliation?
Like me, Mark?
Yes, you are.
But he's never done anything to me in retaliation. The only thing I could say that was a retaliation wasn't even a retaliation. And that was before one of the scenes, he farted. And we filmed the whole scene in his fart cloud. But I don't think the two are related. Is there something that I don't know? Was I being retaliated against and it was unbeknownst to me?
That's why I was tapping your brain for information, because I don't know either.
Okay, yeah. No. No, I do the torturing. Only me. Fart cloud.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you? I just said something that is now going across the internet streaming.
So I had a quick question. I know people ask you a lot, like, what your favorite show was to film, but besides word of mouth, what was your favorite movie?
I knew that would come back to haunt me. What was my favorite movie to film? Besides word of mouth. You know, that's a hard one, no pun intended. You know, I like a couple of different movies for different reasons. I like The Big Lebowski just because I was working with the Coen brothers. And they're sort of extraordinary guys, you know. And really simple and unaffected. And I like when I see really talented, competent people who are not arrogant, but really simple and down to earth and, you know, task oriented. They're really great guys. So that was very interesting watching them bring their script to life, because that script came out right after Fargo. Fargo was such a huge success, and I thought that movie was amazing. I was actually a little bit underwhelmed by the script of Big Lebowski, and then when I saw what they did with it, it was amazing. And I was young, that's probably why I was underwhelmed by the script. I didn't know what good narrative was at the time. But I liked that. Weirdly enough, I liked working on Mulholland Drive, which is a weird movie. You guys seen that movie? Yeah. You guys, you're applauding like, yeah, you like it?
Yes.
Did you understand what the fuck it was about? Because you know the story behind that movie? It was going to be a television series. And it had a very linear storyline. But it was too expensive. And ABC didn't pick it up. It was actually reviewed as the best new TV show you'll never see. And I don't know if that review inspired David Lynch to do something about it, but he ended up buying back the product, I think, cutting half of it and refilming half the movie into that, whatever that Hollywood nightmare is that you see up there. And I remember going back to do some of the reshooting for it. I said, you know, when I did the thing, I had one brown eye and one blue eye, and we'd put pock marks on my face. We did this whole makeup thing. He's like, oh, don't worry about it. So the continuity didn't matter, story didn't matter. It became this other thing, but it was fun working on that because he's also an authentic artist, I think. He had a very different taste than me, but he's very authentic. And I don't mean artist in the way that most people throw around that word today, to mean just about anything. I mean, he's a really focused, value-driven guy in his own weird way. And so I like working on that a lot. I have more, I think. Do you want more? You do? I like working on Beirut. Have you seen Beirut yet? Really? Yeah, that was a little movie I shot in Tangier. So we basically were in Tangier for almost 2 months, which was sort of a phenomenal experience for me, getting to know the people in Morocco and traveling around there, getting to know an entirely different culture from one that I'm accustomed to. It was quite a learning experience in a very good way, a very expansive way. And I hear the movie's pretty good. I haven't seen it yet, but I hear it's pretty good, and I like that director. Brad Anderson. What? Herb? Oh yeah, I did Herb there. That's where Herb was born. You know, there's a thing in the Medina that's kind of cool and kind of scary at the same time. We did these little silly videos about a fictional couple from Duluth, Minnesota called Herb and Marge. We literally did them in like when we had 10 minutes, you know, free time or whatever. Silly people like us do that kind of thing when we have 10 minutes of free time. But we were in the Medina, and we got this kid to steal my watch. Every time we did the take, I should tell you this first. There's a custom in the Medina, which is the marketplace there, that if you are a known thief, if you steal something from a shop, the entire community comes after you like a zombie horde, and they kill your ass. And so this kid took my watch in a take. It was a fake take. Took my watch and started running, and people started flooding out of the shops after him. We're like, no, he's fine. We're just doing this film. And like, yeah, it was fun getting to know the culture and doing a Tony Gilroy script. It was who did The Bourne Identity. I don't know if you see those movies, but yeah, that was fun. Thank you. Before we get into word of mouth, behind the scenes stuff. Hey.
Hi. So first off, I just want to say that Lucifer's death really hurt me a lot. I was so upset about that. But anyways, what was your favorite scene to film with Alexander Calver, and how do you think it'd be different if Jack did turn out to be evil?
I like working with Alex, and I like that he brings this soft, quiet naivete to the part, you know, and he's so innocent and expectant. That really came out in the last episode, I think, where he was fishing. Is that the last episode? Or it's close to the last episode? Where he's fishing. But Dean, that was really cute. Yeah, I like experiencing from the other side the wonder, just sort of like when I was, you know, raising my stepkids, and, you know, Tess is 3 years old, and he points something out when you're walking along, and she's like, oh yeah. There's this sense of wonder to a kid that Alex brings to it that I like watching, and it inspires me as well. And I'd be upset if he turned out evil, just as a viewer and as a person, because evil sucks. Right? Evil sucks. Evil, I keep seeing shadows. It's like, what the fuck? Sneaking up on me. So I hope he is able to maintain the straight and narrow, but who knows? You know, when you're doing stories, you have to endanger everybody involved, otherwise it's not a story anymore. So I don't know where he's gonna go. Where is he now? So you don't want me to tell you where he is now? How do you even know I know where he is now? I don't know where he is now.
Everything is fine. It's fine. He's fine.
He's fine?
Everything's good.
He's not in heaven.
He's good.
I'm kidding. Did that answer your question?
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks.
So, you played Bishop on Being Human, and I just wanted to know how you felt about another show in which you weren't a very good character.
You mean like bad? I was a bad guy?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Bad guy. Yeah, bad guy.
Let me ask you a couple of questions. Okay.
What's your name?
What's your name?
Nora.
Oh no, that wasn't one of the questions. Sorry, I'm being heckled. So let's say you are a member of an endangered minority. Do you think that fighting for that endangered minority would be good or bad?
Good.
Good. You're welcome.
That's a major vote for Bishop, the bad guy, because that's all he was trying to do. Do you still consider him a bad guy?
No.
I was ready to keep going with this. Wow, Socratic method. It just one question and we're in. I think I tend to get these characters that are attempting to do the right thing in all of the wrong ways. Bishop, less so. I mean, and you know, he was a boss attempting to win, you know, a minority population of folks trying to become dominant, trying to come out of the closet. There's nothing wrong with that, and that's the way I looked at it, you know. Being able to live as you choose out in the open without risk of being hurt by others is a noble aspiration. So that's the way I always look at the bad guy characters. I try to find what elements, what basic things are they going for that anybody in the planet would go for, right? Things like that, noble causes like that. a worse character than Bishop would be Paul from Dexter. Right? Paul was an a-hole. Everybody acknowledges it. But Paul was a guy who was trying to make good. He was trying to make up for past sins, reunite his family, and be a good father. So somebody seeking forgiveness and making amends to get that forgiveness is a good person as far as I'm concerned. And so that's the way I look at all my characters. I find what good values they're going for and I focus on those. Does that make sense? Thank you. Does that make sense? Do you care?
Yeah.
Like, get the fuck out of here. So full of shit. You're so full of shit. You don't think those things. You're just saying them. Is that what you're thinking? You know you're a bad person. You're a very bad person. What? I think the devil, I think there's a case to be made for the devil.
Obviously.
How many people are Christians here? Okay, I'm going to offend every single one of you. What else is new? I think I can go down the list and pretty much say I've offended almost everything and everyone. What? Hi?
At a previous con, you had asked us to ask Jared and Jensen why they don't prank you.
Oh, Jesus, I did? Okay.
And we asked them, and they said it was because they respect you and they're scared of you because you can actually throw a punch.
It's so funny. Here we, I mean, Jared is like 9 feet tall. And it's like, remember when we did the cage fight? Was that season 11? So, I mean, we cut this little bit of the fight out, but we're swinging, you know, the old stunt coordinator used to like to do big drunken brawl type fights. And so you have to punch the way I would never punch, because I don't, you know, punch wide, but, you know, we're swinging these punches, and I had to hit like a little uppercut shot to Jared's liver, right? Bang. Which is a shot I normally like in boxing. It's a great punch. But I was like, swing, swing, pump, pump. It was like hitting a fucking stone. I was like, are you all right? He's like, yeah, I'm good. You do realize I fucking just, no? Let me try it again. Ah, fuck. Yeah, it wasn't good. So, it's funny hearing a 9-foot-tall Sasquatch, hard as rock, strapping young dude say that about a 53-year-old. It was scrappy. I'm scrappy. I was scrappy, but I'm not, you know, he would kill me. It was Jensen that was scared of me. No, Jensen?
Jensen said that he nearly peed himself during that. Swung at him.
Yeah, he's athletic too. He did something, you're gonna be like, what? It's not gonna translate, the story I'm about to tell, but we were in the alternate universe, right? And it was a scene right before he comes in to shoot me. I kill Mark, you know, and then he shoots me with the angel blade things. There was a rain tarp type thing over us, and there was he had to leap across this sort of expanse of no man's land to get onto the set. And it was kind of like a stupid, like, wild animal jump that he did. That, you know, I've seen people like, in martial arts, when I used to do martial arts, who had that kind of spring where they could just, you know, go across a canvas in like half a second. That's what he did, and he did it like it was nothing. It hurt watching him do it. It hurt me, physically. So it's funny that he was scared, because that hurt me. That action hurt me. He didn't even touch me.
So my question was...
Wait, but speaking of... I'm sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was wondering if you think Lucifer would have given up some of his grace to save Jack if given the option, or do you think he just wrote Jack off at the end of 13?
Is Jack sorry for what he did? Because let's not forget, it's Jack's fault that he doesn't have his grace. Right? It's Jack's fault that he doesn't have his grace. Why? He chose non-parents to be his parents. I am his parent. Not me, Lucifer. He got what he had coming to him. Is he sorry for that? Then he's not getting his grace back.
Thank you.
I don't know. Do you think he should get his grace back?
Yes.
Why? You're just saying that because he's cute and fuzzy and innocent. Because he's all sweet, he wants to go fishing. He wants to live life to the fullest. The next moment, which is all he's got left, because he's gonna die. Jack is gonna die. He's dying. He's gone. I don't know if he dies, guys. I'm just joking. You think? I don't know.
Hi,
Hey.
first of all, I just want to say that I'm a really big fan and natural.
Pretty good. No, you know, I told this story before, but what was really good about it was that I didn't have to audition for it. You're laughing like, yeah, we get that now. No, but auditioning is sort of a nerve-wracking process for pretty much anybody to go through. Dustin Hoffman has said that if he had to audition the way young folks have to today, he would never work. He would have never have gotten where he is. Because it's an arduous, artificial, messed up process. And it conspires against the human moment that you want to have when you're working. And so I got to bypass all of that with a phone call from Jeremy Carver. Would you like to play Lucifer? I would love to. Great, see you later. And that was that. I wish life were that easy all the time. Yes.
Hi, I was wondering if you could talk about your process for creating the character of Jacob on the TV show Lost.
So you hate it? You know, I just got one sentence from one of the producers and the director, one of the directors. And I was doing some take, you know, basically when you have no idea what your character is and nobody's telling you what your character is, I just go to what the script is telling me to do, and I figure out how I feel about what I'm doing, and then I do that, and I see what happens. It's kind of a fly-by-the-seat-of-your-pants way of working, you know. If you're not being result-oriented, it's the best way to work, but it's also sort of scary, because you don't know what's going to happen from one take to the next. So I was doing a take, and I think I was in a store with the young Kate, and we were doing something, it's like one of the first scenes I shot. And Jack, the director, came up to me and said, "That's it, Jesus the Carpenter." Which is a profound thing to say, for me at least, coming from my background. That actually was everything for me. So, I mean, does that, so many people raise their hands as Christians. I mean, the idea of Jesus the Carpenter, the simple man, the being that walks among us, it's not, there wasn't something other earthly or obviously divine in the character. He was just simple and wise. And so the first couple of chapters of Master and the Margarita sort of came up into my mind. You guys know that book, Master and the Margarita? You should read that, really? Especially the Christians out there, it's a good book. Who has read Master and the Margarita? Oh, this is dismal showing, guys, with 3 folks who've read Master and the Margarita. Anyway, there's a scene in there where, between Jesus and Pilate, that was always very moving to me. And that whole sort of, the essence of that 50 or 60 page scene was sort of my homework. And so it was more of an impressionist kind of sense, more, you know, than a journal or a notebook or any of the other things that I would do on that. Does that make sense? Yeah. Yeah, you guys know the actor Paul Sorvino? He's a good actor, right? Yeah, well, I think in Goodfellas or something, they're like, what was your voice? That's my Uncle Joey or something. So, you know, sometimes your acting inspiration is impressionistic, you know, or you just adopt characteristics of someone you know, and those characteristics, you know, infect your behavior, and they change your personality, and they, you know, allow you to do things that you wouldn't do in your normal, straight life. Yes.
Hi.
Hey.
So my question is, which character do you like portraying better, Nick or Lucifer?
Is this a trick question? There's a psychologist sitting right over here in front of me who's going to know what this answer means. And that terrifies me. I like both parts. So far, I'm not too messed up. No, I like both parts for different reasons. I mean, Lucifer's fun to play, and Nick is sort of tragic, and there's other elements in there that I get to experiment with that sometimes come out of Lucifer a little bit, but these are more prominent characteristics in Nick, so I like being able to highlight those and give expression to those. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Hello.
Hey.
My question is, were you surprised by like the dark turn that Nick took, or were you like expecting it? And do you enjoy continuing playing a more dark, evil kind of character?
Yeah. Yes, I like dark and evil. Yeah, I like it. I like where Nick's going. I'm not sure where he's going, but I sort of like what I'm seeing so far. I don't know that I would like it if it was pure malevolence, though. Right? I mean, if it weren't tinged with brokenheartedness and loss, and I think Nick's going to be confronted with a choice very soon between power and love. Right? What would you choose? There we go. There's one back there. Yes. Power. Do you think Nick is going to choose power?
Really?
Who do you think could convince him to choose love? No. No. His wife and child are gone. So who? No. No, I think Sam's a big meanie. He comes off like he's sweet and sensitive, but he's always mean to Lucifer / Nick. No. All of you are wrong. And I can't tell you who it is, because it's a surprise. And it's going to be a big surprise. Keep guessing, though. I want to hear your thoughts. Yes.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Awesome.
What's your favorite dynamic duo in Supernatural?
My favorite dynamic duo? Ghost Facers.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I take it you agree. They were funny, right? It was so hilarious. There's another shadow going behind me. It's not in my head, right? This is really happening. Am I talking out loud right now?
Yeah.
Can't tell. Go ahead.
Hi.
Hey.
I was wondering, in the book Supernatural Psychology, in your introduction, you included like the idea of an inner orphan. I was wondering where that came from.
My life.
Okay.
Everything that I do comes from my life, my experience. I can't get away from it as much as I'd want to. And I've noticed, you know, when you get older, you start getting a little nostalgic for the youth that you suffered through at the time. But you start reconnecting with old friends, and I've reconnected with some of my friends from grammar school. And I don't know if our class of 77, the class of 77, we graduated 6th grade in 1977. I don't know if we were unique, but I noticed a pattern amongst almost all of the class of broken homes, step-parents, some of them not very good, and violence, like parental violence, neglect. And that made us violent, I think, when we were in school together. I was talking to some folks at my meet and greet, how I think 3 or 4 times a week we were fighting, punching each other in the face as if that's normal. Everybody goes, yeah, what else is new? But anyway, I feel like I grew up with a fractured sense of belonging, you know, like I never felt like I had a family. You know, there were distant relatives that loved me and say they do, but you know, they're always on the periphery, they're never quite there. My mom loved me, but we were immersed in a crappy kind of situation. So, and I feel like a lot of people, I'm not alone, right? I feel like there's a lot of people that have that experience. And so when you see 2 boys that I think were raised in a dysfunctional way, right? An absentee father who's consumed by something that has nothing to do with you as a kid and drags you along into his own nightmare day after day after day. I mean, that's a horrifying thing to grow up with. That breaks you at a very fundamental level. And to see these people grow into men and become heroes is very inspirational, you know. Despite the brokenness, you can still become great. And you can still defy, be independent, and all of these great virtues that I love. So I was just coming from my own sense of existential loneliness. Which is true. I'm playing like I'm joking, but it is true. I mean, I do feel that, and I just assumed I wasn't alone, and that other people felt the same way. Does that make sense?
Yes.
What were your thoughts on the marionette fight?
So glad you brought that up. Because I actually just saw it for the first time like 3 days ago. And I'd heard so many bad things. I know Jensen hated it. And I heard so many bad things. And the fight starts out, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be great. Because it was like a hand-to-hand thing. I like twist his arm and knock the thing out. And he goes his way and I go mine. And from the moment that wire shit happened, the scene just deteriorated. Fast and hard. And all I can say is I'm glad it didn't last long. Because after that start, it was so anticlimactic. So it was a bummer. It was a bit of a bummer to see that. I think there was probably another way to do it that would have been far more interesting. Even just doing it on the ground and that hand-to-hand crazy stuff that Rob Hader does so well, the stunt coordinator. He's like an Aikido guy, like he knows all this crazy stuff. And he's been putting it into the fights, and the fights look awesome, I think. And that could have been a great way to have Michael and Lucifer do it, right? So my feelings are, it wasn't very good. This isn't going out live, is it? Is anybody else outside of this room seeing this? But Dean was ready. I couldn't keep my balance. We're on a wire. I hit him in the face once by accident. Just crazy. He's like, "Oh, it's good. Go." Fights like this. Hockey players, and it wasn't even very good. But it was 1-2-1, 1-1-2, like over and over. So bad. I'm sorry. I think Lucifer should have gone out better. Maybe he'll come back and change things. You think Lucifer's coming back? What gives you that impression? He's like a bad penny. Lucifer's like a bad penny. I hate pennies, by the way. I don't touch pennies. Do you guys touch pennies? An ex-girlfriend of mine gave me a penny phobia. Yes.
Hi, I'm just curious, so out of all of Lucifer's vessels on the show, which was your favorite to watch besides Nick?
Besides yourself. Is that... Am I saying that, or are those just voices in my head? It's hard to tell sometimes. Yes, Rick Springfield was my favorite. Oh, fuck off. Oh, fuck. I thought they were punching.
Billy Moran, man, you can't not applaud.
For a second I turned around and I was like, oh my god, Rick Springfield is here. Oh, it's Billy. Fuck.
He's our Rick Springfield.
Indeed.
How'd it go?
How'd it go? Did it go all right? Yeah. Good fun. Good. There's sometimes deep, sometimes shallow, sometimes nasty, sometimes, you know, G-rated. It went all over the place.
That's awesome. Outstanding. Good for you. You got the full Pellegrino experience. And now, we say goodbye to him the exact same way we say hello. At the count of 3, join me. 1, 2, 3. All hail Satan!